Hello, friends, and welcome to this season of Lent, which we began on Ash Wednesday. Lent is a time when we practice spiritual disciplines in order to grow closer to Jesus and His will and way. And this year, we have created a way for you to practice a spiritual discipline and really experience Lent in a new way. We call it the Joy of Generosity Lenten Challenge. Generosity is one of the fruits of the Spirit, as Scripture tells us, which means that generosity is God's character, and the more that we practice generosity, the more we become Christ-like or shaped in the image of God. And we become more generous by practicing generosity. And this year, we desperately need to experience more joy, and the world and our church and our community desperately need more generosity. So this seems like an excellent focus and practice for us as a church this Lent. My granddaughter Claire, who is 4, taught me about the joy of generosity this past Christmas. She earns a small allowance each week by doing chores and keeps her coins from her allowance in her piggy bank. And as December rolled around, she chose to take some of her money that she had earned out of her piggy bank and go with her mom to shop for a special Christmas gift for her little brother, Henry. This was all Claire's doing. And so they went to a store that had lots of things that they thought Henry would like. And Claire was so excited about using her money, spending her money to buy a gift for Henry, that she insisted they look at everything in the store before she picked something out, because she wanted it to be just right and the very best thing that she could give her little brother. And she was so excited when she picked the right gift out and took it to the cash register and took out her own money and gave it to the person there to pay for that gift. She was filled with joy, and on Christmas morning, with all the gifts there were to open and everything from Santa and all the excitement of Christmas morning for a 4-year-old, the thing she was most excited about was seeing her little brother open the gift that she had bought and given him. Isn't that a wonderful example of the joy of generosity? It gave her so much joy to be generous and to use some of what she had to be a blessing to others. And I'm so excited that both of our grandchildren are being taught the practice of generosity, because that's how they will become more generous people. We've all seen and heard amazing stories of generosity just this week in the countries surrounding Ukraine. All those countries that have generously opened their borders, provided food and shelter, bedding, medicine, resources, whatever is needed to help the people who are in such desperate situations and fleeing from the terrible warfare in Ukraine. I heard one woman in Poland being interviewed on the radio, and she said that she went to the train station to meet all the refugees who were pouring over the border into Poland. And she found some mothers and children who had nowhere to go. They had gotten across the border, but then they didn't know what to do and where to go. They had no one to meet them. And she went up to these families and said, "You can come and stay in my home." And she opened her home to several refugee families, giving them everything they needed so that they would be safe and well taken care of. And as I heard her talking about it, the joy in that woman's voice traveled all the way from Poland across the world through the radio waves right to me. I could feel it and hear it in her voice. We want all of you, all of us, to experience that kind of joy in this season of Lent. That quiet joy that comes from being generous to others. And we want to all grow in our ability to be generous people and to find that joy of generosity. So starting this Sunday, we're inviting everyone who's willing to take the challenge, from our youngest children to our oldest folks, to join the Joy of Generosity Lenten Challenge. There will be a sign up at the entrance of the Getman Room as you come in on Sunday morning, and every person or household that accepts the challenge will get a joy jar like this one to take home with you. And there are 3 steps to the Joy of Generosity Challenge. The first is to accept that you will be more generous in giving to the church each week during Lent. And we want to encourage you to be as creative as you can about ways that you can free up some of your money to be more generous than you normally are. And we'll be sharing some tips and ideas about that throughout the 40 days. The second step is to agree that you will be more generous each day with your time and attention, your kindness and forgiveness to others. And the third step is to pay attention to the joy that you feel daily from being generous, and record that joyful experience on a little slip of paper and add it to your joy jar. And over the 40 days, you'll have 40 experiences of joy that you have recorded that you can go back to and remember and give thanks to God for. Now, these are not 3 items to choose from or choose among. The challenge is for us to take all 3 steps daily for the 40 days of Lent. Let your generosity grow and your joy overflow by practicing generosity toward others, by adding to your extra generous financial gifts to the church, and by finding and naming your joy every day. I hope you will take the challenge along with me and find joy in practicing the habit of generosity. And may God bless you in this season and bless us as we take this journey through Lent together.